I'm a man with a dream, and I'm gonna tell my story. I've told it a few times. I don't know if I've told it to the extent I'm going to tell it today, but I'm going to do my best here to go into my past and to kind of relive my earlier years, my school, my post school time, and kind of how life has evolved and how I really kind of found heaven by going through hell. And I'm gonna have very likely my friend Rex come on here. He's in Eswatini, um, which is between South Africa and Mozambique. And him and I were supernaturally we met and whatnot. It's been a beautiful divine intervention just to have him as a friend in my life and as a brother in Christ. So before I go though, I'm just gonna pray for the Lord's blessing on this. That He gives me the words and the guidance to think clearly and diligently to tell my story. So, Heavenly Father, Jesus, I love you so much. And I thank you for all the blessings that you've poured on my life. I thank you for all the suffering I went through, for the hard times in the past, you know, which is it was a glimpse of your pain. Got to I got to touch it just very lightly to see the suffering you went through, because you went through way worse than myself or anybody else. And I never want to compare my suffering to anybody else's. So, Father, I pray that you help my story help others help others find you, find freedom, um, and just find peace, God. And I pray that you send your angels down here to just give me peace and freedom. Thank you that I got the blessing of being with my brother Stephen here, sit in the car with me, and help me get this done in time, because I got an appointment I got to get to in an hour and a bit, hour and 45. So, yeah, I just pray your hand upon this, Lord. In Jesus' beloved, mighty name I pray. Amen. So I don't really have any notes. I got my iPad in front of me, but I don't have, I'm probably going to read some lyrics throughout it as well, and whatnot. So, yeah, I was born into a Christian home, a Jesus loving home, a very dysfunctional one at times. We're full of love, but there's been some division caused, in myself and my siblings. And I mean, over the years, I had a lot of anger built up in me, and it caused me to make some very, very bad choices and go down some really dark valleys. And I'm looking back in my life. There's kind of giving a kind of overall synopsis right now of how I've turned into who I am, somebody I'm proud of. And I'm just a guy with a big dream. Now I have an army. Now I have a team. And I've always been a dreamer. When I was young, I wanted to go to the NBA. Oh, somebody's watching. Hello. I don't know if I can tell my story a little bit, but I was gonna go private on it, but I'm gonna go public, so can't even tell. I should find out how the comments work here. I'm gonna be telling this and then kind of making a transcript for it and see how I do here and whatnot. But yeah, so I was born into a Christian home, and I basically was born with the Bible in my hands. And I've studied that book my whole life. That basic instructions before leaving Earth, Bible, and a lot of amazing guidance from my mom, my dad too, by example, in a lot of ways, and actually in a lot of ways not so much, but that goes actually for everyone. We all have to go through a journey which is full of lessons. Life is a good teacher if you learn from it. My slogan for myself is, I am not defined by who I used to be. Life is a series of lessons I had to go through to learn how to be me, to learn to be me. And so yeah, it was quite a journey, quite a roller coaster. My younger years were very good. I don't have too many. I have very few memories of my childhood. They do come back since I've gotten healthier and focused on my well-being, valuing the nurturing of my temple. Putting my spiritual health first, and having my physical, my mental, / emotional, psychological, psychiatrical, physiological, biological, every element of health follow suit. And I'm a strong believer that if my spiritual health is taken care of, um, and in the way I know, and I judge nobody. My middle name is Daniel, which means God is my judge. So I found my freedom through Jesus Christ. You know, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16, and that's the verse pretty much everyone in the world probably knows. Not everyone, but yeah, no. So my earliest memories were, by the age of kind of grade 4 or 5 on, I have a lot of memories, and I was just as a fun-loving, energetic rabbit kid, bunny, the Energizer Bunny. But before that, I remember we had an acreage in Red Deer. So first of all, let's go back to I was born on a cold evening in November. I think it was evening. I keep forgetting if it was 7 in the morning or 7 at night. My mom will correct it. But November 12th, 1984, I'm 40 now. And how those years flew by this fast, I don't know. It's been 22 years since high school. And I remember like it was yesterday. Just crazy. And yeah, so many good memories. Some painful ones too. Some loss, and whatnot. Some other grief and a lack of awareness on how to process emotions and all that stuff. It was in my younger years. So, but yeah, it was quite the experience in my younger years. So I was born into loving family in Calgary, and in November 1284, and kind of going a little slower right now intentionally. I've learned actually. I used to be a really fast talker, and I can do that at times. I love rabbit holing. I love just going into whatever, and I'm probably going to do a bit of that today, where I'll go back and forth in my story, and I'll get into the fluid motion of telling it. And but it's been learning self-discipline on communication, and I've learned how to do it, what to do, and now I'm able to apply it to my life. And I got some really fundamental people in my life who help me, who help shape me, help guide me, and rebuke me and correct me and teach me and train me. And that's my prayer to God through over the last few years has been, Father, guide me, rebuke me, correct me, teach me, and train me in righteousness. And so yeah, where do I begin? When I get into my story in the deeper years, it's gonna be very easy to tell. So Calgary, till I was 1, I believe, maybe 2. Um, I've asked my mom over the years, and to kind of get some mixed answers. I think that's what I felt like, but yeah. So lived there. I have no memory of that. And then we moved to Red Deer when I was 1 or 2 until I was 7. We had an acreage on Mackenzie Road, Mackenzie Lane Road, whatever it was, and we had a hobby farm. We had 5 acres there, I believe, and we had goats, we had chickens, had horses. 2 horses, King and Dolly. My sister was an equestrian. She did some art jumping, show jumping, I think it's called, and just was awesome at it. Horses are a very important part of her life, and she still has 2 horses now to this day. And I was the 3rd child born out of 5. My oldest brother Martin, he's gonna be 50 this year, and Andrea, I better get this right. She's 47, I believe. My sister, and then 7 or 8 years later, I came along. My parents were done with 2 children. They had their 2 children, and that was it. And then I came along accidentally. My dad loved to tell the story every year at my birthday, and it's pretty funny and whatnot. Maybe I'll get a recording of him telling the story of my conception. Whatever, maybe without too many details. But he always tried to embarrass me, but I was pretty unembarrassable for over the years, pretty much. I'm completely and entirely uninsultable now. There's nothing anybody can say to me that is going to offend me, because I have boundaries in place to block any and all deconstructive criticism. So, but anyway, so I came along 7-8 years later, and then they liked me so much they had two more, and so Chris came along, and he's now 37. Did I say 37 for Andrew? She's 47. He's 50. It's in December. So Martin's 50, turning. He's old. Just kidding. And Andrew 37. Me, I'm 40. 47. I said it again. 40. I'm 40. And Chris is 37. And then Elling, I believe, is 34. And so Chris and Elling, they're my younger two brothers. So I'm kind of in a sense, I feel like I'm the oldest child of the second generation of family. So I don't know how it, there are some stereotypes that for oldest child, youngest child, that definitely ring true with my family. Um, Martin, the oldest one, he's been the most responsible, the most stable. However, looking back, knowing what I know about emotional health and mental health and spiritual health, his spiritual health is great. And throughout this whole thing, I mean, absolutely no insult to anyone. I think it's important that we talk constructively about each other in out of absolute nothing but love. And so he was I guess I'd say the backbone of our family. I have so many beautiful memories of being a kid, him taking Chris and Elling and he had bought us BMX bikes, and it was just an amazing he was the older brother the epitome of an amazing older brother. And just it was awesome. And more than that, he's kind of, yeah, he was awesome. He grew up. So my parents are quote unquote baby boomers, and my mom, she's been pretty aware of emotional health and whatnot over the years, and not as much as she is now. I didn't learn growing up what mindfulness was. I learned that at the age of 35, 36, and that was when my mental health battle really began. It actually began with depression diagnosis when I was 18, but I'll get to that. And then the roller coaster of stuff happened after that in the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm a Christian. I love Jesus, and I love nicotine too. There's going to be a world of people in the church who judge me for that, and I'm fine with that. I'm also things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of, but I'm not ashamed of in myself anymore. Because I've learned, like I said, I am not defined by who I used to be. Life is a series of lessons I had to go through to learn to be me. And I might repeat that a couple times throughout this because it's very important to me. But for time's sake, I'll keep going here. Yeah, so Andrea, she's my sister. You're talking about my family first before I got on about me. She's a phenomenal artist. The best. Like I've turned into an artist with words. I actually found my love of visual arts as well and rehabilitation last year. But with words, I've kind of shaped my identity. My identity is I'm a child of God and disciple of Christ, and I believe nothing is impossible. So, but yeah, I also believe that I'm human, and I believe that I'm a sinner. I believe that anybody who claims to be without sin makes mockery of God, and I believe that we're not to judge anyone, and I believe we're also not to argue over disputable matters, and it's that love shall abound above all. I don't believe that we are to love God with our whole heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love our neighbor as ourselves. So love God, love our neighbor, everyone that is, anyone with a heartbeat, and love ourselves. So that said about nicotine, I'm gonna take a little puff. So yeah, Andrea, we've had a bit of a volatile relationship, her and I, throughout her life. She's my only sister, and she's amazing. And right now, there's still some volatility in our relationship, but um, it's going to heal. My family will reconcile. God told me 3 years ago that in 4 years, there'll be full reconciliation with my family. And he speaks to me very clearly. He's spoken to me many things over the years, and a lot of supernatural experiences I've had. I'm probably not going to dive too deep into that on this story. I'm going to keep it kind of more to the point of things and whatnot. And I've got some notes from my dear friend, and he's in the management team on what we're doing in the ministry. And this is ministry outreach movement. We're trying to. It ultimately is a ministry that we're building, but we may decide to take some stigmatic stuff out of it. But again, I'll go to that, what we're going to be doing in the future, what we're doing now, what I've done, and how everything in my life has shaped me to become who I am, and every piece of the puzzle will come is of my upbringing and overcomings and all that. Has shaped me and given me the ability to live out the vision that I have have this team of amazing people, and yeah. So I just want to acknowledge my brother Stephen here, sitting beside me. I won't put him on video right now, but he's a he's an overcomer. We'll leave it at that. And dear friend and brother, and we're gonna be traveling and doing music together. It's gonna be awesome. Singing at old folks' homes, rehabilitations, hospices, homeless shelters, wherever people don't have the ability to um, be entertained, whatnot. And so, kind of telling a bit of my future right now in the past here. So let's tell it back to my family. So, yeah, Andrea, she's amazing, so creative, and whatnot. So, and I could dive into the battles I feel my siblings have as well on a mental health basis, but because I've learned so much about it from myself and my journey, and from conversations with others throughout my journey. But I'm going to decide not to do that. Chris, my younger brother, he was the kind of the class clown growing up, super smart. My whole family, we're all very smart, and except me. Just kidding. I do value intelligence, and but it's knowledge, this and that doesn't. I believe wisdom is the ultimate form of of uh, of intelligence, and that you can have knowledge is for knowing facts, knowing that eating too many cookies eating too much McDonald's will get you out of shape and whatnot. And the understanding is you can know that and still do it. Understanding is knowing it, um, and applying it is a knowing. This is a good example or not. Knowing it but still doing it. You understand it, whatever, and then the wisdom is knowing it and being able to apply it. And knowing that if you do that every day, well, it's your body, mind, everything's gonna not like you for it. So um so Chris was a football player. um Andrea Martin never really played many sports growing up nearly as much as the Chris Elling and I did. Because he was a football player, and just they called him the refrigerator. I remember he played on the Abbotsford Falcons. They went 6 years in a row without a loss. It was just crazy. And so he's a big boy. He's his bones probably weigh as much as me. And there's one point I was 180, he was 360, and he's eats healthy. He went through phases of not doing that, of course, right, too. But him and his wife, they cook healthy, they eat healthy, whatnot, and she tries everything. He's just a big dude, refrigerator. And then Elling was a hot, and Chris and I actually we've had a very volatile relationship, more kind of like the brother rivalry, right? And but it was, and then it transferred into our business years as well. But and yeah, so Elling, and Chris and I were, I love every single one of my siblings, and even though there's still some elements of misunderstanding, actually, I should say. My theme song for my life, besides some elements of the song, the guy in the song wanted to become a rock star in the big stage. I couldn't care less for that. I don't care about fame, fortune. I used to love money, the American dream, all that stuff is vanity now. Love is not vanity. Family is not vanity. Um, and But the material things in the world that cause that fuel people, that fuse to fuel me, to make me feel happy. They don't mean anything to me anymore. It's not. I like eating, drinking and being merry. As Ecclesiastes Solomon tells us, right? Eat, drink, and be merry. It doesn't say eat, get drunk, and be merry. It says eat, drink, and be merry. So I do love alcohol still, and I drink it very moderately after years of challenge with it. But I developed that thing that last of the fruit of the spirit, self-control, which was absolutely my hardest one to get to. So, and life is a series of lessons. You got to keep growing, and getting more and more renewed every day and more sanctified each day. So yeah, Chris is awesome. Um, Chris, I should also say, is extremely amazing at guitar. Um, Andrea, she's the singer too. I never heard Martin sing, so I don't know. He probably watched him. I'm sure he's like a professional opera singer if he tries. I don't know. But Andrea, she's got a beautiful voice. My dad as well. I should say that he grew up in a very musical family, and his father, my grandpa Art, we used to sing "How Great Thou Art" and to my grandpa, "How Great Thou Art." Anyways, as a joke, of course, we're singing to God, right? He was basically a junior Billy Graham. He had a huge vision. He was a pilot. I could talk about all my family members, but my grandpa's and my Oma and Opa and my grandma, they were the examples. They were the prayer warriors of our family that they prayed into us so much, shaped us to become who we are, that influenced who we are. Because I absolutely believe that um, the prayer is real. I talk to God every day. And the only time he doesn't talk to me is when I look away, when I engage into the lusts of my flesh. Lust, right? I'm still a man when I'm 40 and I still battle that. But it's a battle every day. And I believe that it's so important that we talk about stuff. So Elling, he's the only, Martin also did too. He went to BCIT for architectural engineering for 2 years, took 9 courses every semester, and was just like, he locked himself in his room and he's like, I'm doing this. And he did. Elling played hockey growing up. Um, and he was really good. So many injuries. He was just so surgeries and stuff like that kind of took him out of that. But he ended up going to UBC, University of British Columbia, and Sauder School of Business, and graduated very high in his class. And he went on to work for JP Morgan Chase in Calgary, and he went to a private equity firm in New York after that. Met his now wife, Ivana, and she worked at Google. And they met. Elling then got some time off work. The job he had, and traveled across the country in a VW bus. That's what I want. He had a yellow one. It was so nice with the roof that goes up. And it's kind of funny. Steven's looking for vehicles for us right now. We're looking at old minivans. Now we're looking at other stuff too. But we're gonna have some sponsors. A sponsor with an RV is around the corner to help us out in the very near future, and to accomplish our vision. So um, yeah, so Elling, they did that, and then he started his own business after that, and now he's doing, and then he had some issues with that. He actually had a very strong drug problem as well, battle like I had, but he learned the first time, and he got out of it and whatnot. So all of my siblings, though, and my whole family, except for my mom, battle with alcohol, and it's a very, very, very strong, slippery slope. It's the most unregulated drug, and it's the most toxic one, most dangerous one, I should say, and it ruins a lot of lives. And I'm not nothing wrong with the alcohol, just like money. The Bible doesn't say money is evil; it says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil things. And I went to a point of loving it, you know, lying, cheating, and stealing. Uh, and not I didn't go break into stores or anything or break into houses, but I did some things I did that were pretty wrong, extremely wrong. And I'll get into that more in my business years when I talk about that. But yeah, but alcohol has been, there's generational curses, and my parents had to um, go through some challenges of their own. I'm going to leave some details out for privacy reasons. Um, but and things get passed on. The Bible says the curses will last 4 generations, but blessings will last 10. And so after all the curses, I have not curses per se. Well, so just the challenges, the valleys. Stephen told me the other day. He said, "In the valley is where things grow, and on the peak is a quote. It was beautiful. He's like, I've never heard it before. In the peak, it's barren. So in the peak of life, when we have everything, we don't really. When I had everything, I wasn't nearly focused on God, right, or love. I was on love, yes, but and I've always felt that the heart of God, full of love, but I also felt this flesh of desire and lust and passion, and so I caved into that many time and time again. And looking back on deliverance, I know exactly when I let the devil in. And anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my family. Elling's the youngest, and I'd say stereotypically, he had kind of more of the spoon feededness, but he also, in his earlier years, but he became very independent. So I don't want that to be an insult at all. So we're all very independent, and we're all we've all done well, and money means nothing in that. So that was I went to we lived in Red Deer till I was 7. Kindergarten I had to take kindergarten twice. I'm a November baby, so I took it the first time I would have been 4. I guess I failed it. Probably failed nap time. I kept talking, blah, 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 blah. What's this? I was full of questions. I remember my mom told me, I got a few memories of people told me. I remember when I was always sitting on the can, doing my business and clipping coupons out of the flyers, whatnot, to show my mom, hey mom, this is on sale. Let's get this. And that never stopped, right? I've always been a deal finder, and finding value in things is a gift I like to think I have. And no, I think another one I've sang at church 3 times in my life. When I was 4, last summer, and then at this last men's retreat I went to in Red Deer with um, Capital City Church of Edmonton. What a beautiful family. There's 2 churches I go to now. That one and Summit Church in Red Deer. What a beautiful group of people, body of believers, where everybody welcomes everybody and you just feel held up and embraced. It's so awesome. Unlike experiences I have in the Reformed Church, I will speak lightly on that. I personally think that the old Martin Luther Protestant Reformation needs to happen again, and there needs to be a new 95 Theses nailed on the Church of the Reformed Church door. So much religiosity and judgment and holier than nowness, and a lack of intentional love. Um, you know, lack of Matthew 15 verses 18 verses 15 to 20, or if you got an issue with your brother or sister, approach them one-on-one. If that doesn't work, bring 1 or 2 witnesses. If that doesn't work, bring them to the congregation. If that doesn't work, well, shake dust off your feet and say goodbye to them. But the church often goes backwards. We live in a culture here, and I'm speaking more for the Western culture, American church, and there's a lot of apostasy in it, a lot of false teaching. I don't need to. I used to point people out. I've changed my ways. I'd rather not do that. But I would also like to say that a lot of people take that Bible out of context and add or subtract to it, or choose what to follow. And it's not. We're to follow all of it. The parable of the lost sheep. Jesus went to. Um, Rescue that one sheep, and many people will say that he loves us so. It's a great translation of it. He loves us so much that he's going to go out and rescue us. That's absolutely true, and bring us back home. But and meaning I found out of it is that he ain't fine with 99% of us. He wants 100% of us, all of us. All of me is more than enough for all of you is more than enough for all of me. I don't know where that came from, but yeah. So I know why, because I wrote a song called "All of Me." Um, And I'll read a few of my poems. I'll probably could pull that one up too, but that's actually the moment of my surrender. That's why it came to me. And I usually struggle to know my lyrics if I'm reading them or thinking them out without saying them or rhyming them. I'll save it for a little bit though, if I can find it in here. I might not be able to. I know a bit of it. This is one actually that I will read. Why me? I'm gonna be reading a few of them. I've written over the last 4 years probably 10,000 or more songs / poems. Many, many, many with music to them. I got one album I released in 2022, and that was I loved marijuana. I loved weed back then, and I released it on 420. I don't do drugs anymore. I think they're horrible for mental health reasons. I try to justify that they're good for me, researching and reading all the wrong things that I wanted to believe to be true. But again, I'm kind of fast tracking, and this is the way I talk. I'll give glimpses of it, and then I'll bring it back. Um, I Yeah, so kindergarten went twice. My first memory of school was my first real memory actually in life was seeing an African American child in my grade 1 class, and just like didn't know what the heck, never seen it before. And it's just so funny now. I never had a racist bone in my body. We all bleed red and yellow, black and white. They are all precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. And so, yeah, that was that. And then grade 2, we moved. Then my family, my dad decided to pack up out of the blizzard of Alberta we live in. It gets cold here, pretty cold for some of this for I don't know 5 months probably, and then to move to the rainforest of British Columbia in the Fraser Valley, a city called Abbotsford. We moved to a place in Mount Lehman first, no Mission first, sorry. Had a house there, we rented for a little bit, and then moved to Mount Lehman. Went to Mount Lehman Elementary for grade 2. I remember Miss Kohlmeyer, she was amazing, and my friend David, and just so much fun I had there. And then lived on a small little property, not small, but a property. I wasn't going to say acreage, but vape break. Stop making so much noise over there.
Try it not to.
I was joking. Yeah. The bugging people. So yeah, that was my then grade 3. We moved to my dad's a home builder, and his lack of emotional awareness over the years was made up, and I realized this probably over the last 6 months only, that the way he showed love to us was by scraping the earth to put food on the table. And he worked so hard through many, many, many persecuting times of business and whatnot. But he truly loves every one of us with his whole heart. And there was so much of late volatility. And I see, I don't, I don't, I I don't think I ever called him an alcoholic in his life. I didn't want to do that. But there was a lot of anger that I had built up through my experiences that I kept into myself, sweeping under the rug. And as Jordan Peterson would say, invisible elephants in the room. Well, they can take shape, and when they do, they stomp you and the ones around you. And so I definitely was guilty of a lot of that. It was so beautiful how, though, yesterday, uh, technically today for me, it's 5:45 in the morning. And so it's like, I don't know, 3 hours before bed for me, maybe 4. I just got my clock shifted. I'm an owl. I'm a human owl. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Um, I'm an idiot. I wrote a song called that a long time ago. And my earlier years, my writing's gotten stronger and stronger over the years. And yeah, I'm surrounded by with amazing people who are amazing writers as well. Everybody's a writer. You got a story to tell, you can write it out. And you can make anything rhyme if you're like Eddie Vedder. Make purple rhyme with pink, right? Pink, right? So that will shape it. So yeah, we moved to from Mount Lehman to Abbotsford, where in the home that my dad built. And then we moved, I think, a year or two after, same cul-de-sac. My dad built 3, 4 homes in that cul-de-sac. Amazing, amazing builder. He was also a pilot, and he built an airplane. My grandpa was a pilot. My grandpa got his pilot's license for $250. My dad got his for $750. I think a basic one now is 75,000. So it's a bit of inflation. The world we live in, right? What can we do, right? We can go and blame, but we could also say God's got a plan. God's ahead of the enemy in infinite amounts of steps. And so I had an amazing time at Abbotsford Christian School. So many great friends who I don't keep in active contact with them over the last couple year. I have, though, with some of them, some of my dearest friends. If I named one, I got to name so many of them. And there were so many of them who stuck by my side through my journey. I wrote a song which is on my first album called Real Friends, and real friend. I got a bit of laryngitis right now, so and I got my first old folks home show. Well, my 7th. I did 6 in Cape Breton Island, and that was what inspired me to do this. I just got so much joy from seeing the smiles on faces, and yeah. So real friends, the ones with us till the end. Real friends, the ones we can always count on. Real friends, on them I do depend. Yeah, I'd be lost without my real friends. They pick you up whenever you fall. Yeah, so I've got a lot of those real friends, but my active circle of hanging out with people is rather small. I like it that way. And But so many friends across the country and around the world, just from the connections I've made and the travels I've done. Social media is a great part of that, but my circle of people I hang out with around me too is small. In retrospect to what some people have, and uh, and yeah, so grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, elementary school, amazing time. All my teachers, I remember them, and I love them all. Miss Kay, Miss Kohlmeyer, Sharon. She wants me to call her Sharon now. She's probably friends with everybody on Facebook from her, all the kids that went there. Anyway, she's amazing, just a trooper. Fought through a battle with MS and fighting through it. Sorry, and just a servant to the Lord Most High. And there's other teachers I'll never forget. Like from that, I mean, I don't know, Miss Icekiss, Miss Bott, Mrs. Bott, Miss Augustma, Lord bless her soul. She's absolutely a redeemed woman. Uh, and yeah, that was good. Elementary, Miss Humphreys, so many teachers. I don't know. I wasn't planning on naming people, but I guess I did. My high school, grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, sorry, go back to grade 7. Mr. King, no. What was my grade 7 teacher name again? Yeah, it'll come to me. That was a brain fart. I feel bad now. I should remember this. Anyways, grade 8 to 12 was I'm super musical now, but I dove into and I was born into music. My whole dad's side of the family, like they were born into. They're a bunch of artists, autists. I'm an autist. I think I have some autism. I never felt I fit into this cookie cutter world where I find people living in boxes with windows that they can see through. I said, no, I don't belong in boxes, and I've kicked the walls down of them many times, many times, and because we're made to live free and with respect and love and dignity, of course, things you have to learn through life. And some people have different ways they're raised, and just like dogs, right? Their dogs are all pure and innocent. It's the owners, like pit bulls, for example. They're about a tender dog, a very protective dog, but they can be raised to be loving or aggressive. And just like children, the first 2 years of life, in infancy, I forget it's the first year or two. Basically, well, first two, children learn two emotions, main emotions. They learn joy and disgust. They learn what they can and can't trust. And that is so, they're little sponges. They absorb everything. And a lot of parents don't understand that. And they get mad at the kid for doing this and that and don't get down to the level to understand them. So I take child psychology, everything psychology I take serious. So yeah. Grade 8 when I started basketball. No, grade. What am I saying? That's when for grade 5, 6, 7. I played it. Grade 7, I wanted to go. I was like, I'm going to the NBA. In grade 8, I'm like, I'm going to the NBA. Grade 9, same thing. 10, same thing. 11, same thing. Grade 11 was my best year. Grade 8, I was number 44. Grade 9, I was 22. Grade 10, I was 33. Grade 11, I was 11. And from that point forward, I kept that as my favorite number. All my books I write, they have 11 chapters. My music albums have 11 songs, and a secret song. Yeah, so 12. My birthday's 11/12. Um, November 12. And yeah, so I just love sports. Grade 11, I at Abbey Christian School, Abbotsford Christian School, I was athlete of the year. That was a good, awesome achievement. That was just such a you know, such an affirming thing. And I beat all the grade 12 boys. I'm like, what? It felt so cool. Got called up in chapel, and the athlete of the year is Stefan. And yeah, so um, yeah, it was amazing. I hope I can get through the whole. I don't know if I will because I'm kind of taking a little more time going through it. So I might not get into the later years of life with this based on like an hour and 7 minutes left before I have an appointment. But we'll see. There might be part 2 to this. I'm just going to tell the story. I don't want to rush it. And yeah, so, and I got to tell a different version of the story as well about more of a bio. And I was going to do that today, but I just decided I'm going to tell my story and use the time I have to speak it diligently. I feel the presence of God guiding me now, and I started off a little, what do I talk about? I got told my story many times, and but to tell it my whole story would take a very, 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 very long time. There's a lot of things in there for anybody, really, so Um, I'm just gonna go at the pace I go at here, and we'll have a 11 part series. No, I'm kidding. Try to do it in a couple. I think that's how it's gonna go. So, um, and that takes the pressure off me from rushing into this and that. So, and we'll see if my buddy Rex comes on. I think that'd be amazing if he does. See if he messaged me, anyways. He said he had 45 minutes. My Eswatini buddy. Um, hey, buddy. Good message in there. So, um, yeah. So, then it was awesome. I was also first half of the grade 11 year. I was like mid three GPA, 3.5 or something like that. I did pretty good. And then second half, I got 4.0 and athlete of the year. And it was like going places. It felt good. My brain worked really well. And before that too, I struggled with um, intaking the information, reading books. I struggled with it. I had a lot of learning struggles, and it really Rex is just about done, so it's awesome. Yeah, man, this guy's awesome. I was supernaturally led to him, and yeah, um, so yeah, it was amazing. It just felt so good, and my friend life was good. You know, it was kind of a jock, right? Had yeah, probably had a girlfriend. Yeah, I did have a girlfriend back then, but started dating around that time and and whatnot. So lots of breakups, but I broke lots of hearts. Hearts broke me too. But you know, it hurts when your heart breaks. It really does. I've had it many times broken. It's you know, and now looking back at the ones I broke, I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do it that way, kind of thing, right? Not don't well, shouldn't say that, but one time in particular, other times too, and when I was younger. So um, I um, yeah, then grade 12 came along and it started off good. And then I got in gym class, my friend Curtis, he's a buddy of mine. He's an awesome guy. I haven't talked to him in a while, but if we did, it'd be like yesterday. And we were playing soccer in class, and I had a pretty much a breakaway. I'm like, I just got to get around Curtis and go around. And he did take the flying knee. He didn't mean to hurt me, but here's my femur and right into there. So I got a hematoma, and I've had other many injuries in my life, more in my later years, and broke my neck twice. First time snowboarding, second time being apprehended under the Mental Health Act, in my parents' house by a very aggressive cop who I could say something else, but I choose to not. I forgive him. That's all. Um, and whatnot. So and many things. I went through a lot of struggles in that. And prior to that, even in through my school you know, I was never in the special classes or anything, but I had to really try, really, really try. Grade 11, I didn't even feel like I had to try. Things just came fluidly. So it's like God gave me a glimpse of what life can feel like. And I feel that now. Um, Music has really shaped me. There's a book I have read a little bit about. Stephen and I actually started the Audible version of it for 3 minutes, and then conversation took over. Probably started by me. He's got more patience to probably sit and listen to the whole thing, but my rat brain's go, nope, let's talk. But this is your brain on music, and one thing I remember in that is the three ways. Well, he said, yeah, the three most prominent ways that your brain is stimulated and grows. Number three is by listening to music. So when you're listening to music, your brain is being stimulated in ways like, think about, you know, a song you heard 10, 20 years ago, and you know, if you try to remember the words, you're like, no way, but you hear the first strum or first couple beats, and you're like, I know the whole song, right? It's just how that music just right. And God uses music that way, but the enemy does too, right? Different frequencies and whatnot, and music is, you know, Lucifer was God's most beautiful creation when he was the head archangel, and he was director. He was in charge of worship in heaven before the Great War of Heaven started. He started before he pridefully thought he could be better than God and stirred up the angels and got booted out. And they yeah, so turned into fallen angels, aka demons. It's a very real world. Yeah, I'm text rest back here. Sounds good, brother. Um, anyway, so grade 12, yeah. So prior to that, yeah, it was hard. I did okay, probably 65 to 75, some 80s, I'm sure. But in grade 8 to 12, um, I always got like 95 or 100 in gym class. Maybe not 100, but really good. Some class I did pretty good in Bible class too. Math, I was always very good at. I remember actually grade 7. I only remember getting second place once in. I could be wrong, but that's my memory. In Mad Minutes, you get like 60 seconds to answer 60 questions. Like, what's 4 times 12? 48. What's all this? Like, boom, just quick. So I've always been a quick thinker, right? And yeah, so but those thoughts got controlled so many thoughts, and over the years there was some diagnosis, sorry, that have, I guess I'll say a little bit of a glimpse of it, but bipolar over the last 4 or 5 some years, and it was all drug induced, and not just the drugs I took, but the pharmaceutical ones that were irrationally uh, uh, pressed in, not induced into me. I never had a choice, and that was the strongest cause of my erratical behavior at the times. But also poor lifestyle choices, so and whatnot. But I'll get more into that later, just to kind of a glimpse of that. But um, I guess some major, not issues, but constructive feedback that the Canadian mental health system and probably worldwide mental health system could grow from, and not just me, but a team of people um, other writers and other people that will be able to largely contribute to as well. I'm writing a book called. I've written 13 books over the last manuscripts, not all complete, but mostly over the last 4 years. Um, my first one was called "The Best Is Never Planned." I wrote that 5 times, and I started the sixth one. It's actually here, and then I started writing another. And every book I wrote started writing as a journal entry or as a form, maybe a form of writing of something, right? I messaged someone. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm writing a book. Gotta do that. And the best is never planned. Right? We can plan all we want. I can plan to go to the NBA when I'm grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and thank God I didn't. Sure, because that'd be cool. Um, but God had other plans. God, you know, my life verse that my mom planted into me from a very young age, and the Bibles I've had, she's written in them. I think 2 of them, my high school Bible, and maybe when I was a kid too, but also the last one. I lost so many Bibles. The Bible are the words of God, uh, and everything I say is my opinion. You can take it as you like. I mean, no judgment to anyone. You're all welcome. Everybody's welcome, whether you're Hindu, Jew, Sikh, Muslim, red, black, or blue, whatever you are. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus, and I just want to have a community of love and respect. And I'll definitely stand behind what I believe in, but I won't preach. I think one of the worst things somebody can do is say, "Repent or you go to hell." It's cause that judgment, and there's so much judgment in our Christian world that needs to be incinerated. Not the people, but the judgment, that darkness that behind it. That we need to, you know, in the darkest place, you go and turn the light on. That light shines, will kill the darkness, will eat it. In the deepest darkness is where the brightest light is found. I'll probably say that later and elaborate on it. So, grade 12 had the hematoma. I had a breakup that broke my heart. I got depressed. I started getting really feelings of just struggling, and looking back in grade 12, I was already battling some clinical depression. It wasn't until after high school I went to, I forget the exact time, but I'm pretty sure it was when I went to UCFV, now known as UFV, University College of the Fraser Valley, now University of the Fraser Valley. And I was for general studies, just taking math and English and whatever. Had to upgrade my math and my English because grade 12, I got like 6, didn't get high enough, didn't do good enough. And those 2 months I was in university, and I'll go back to more to high school stuff. Well, I don't really need to. That was kind of, I graduated. It was awesome. I remember that. It's a great time. Um, and yeah, those struggles. And then actually, after another, before university, I go to that. Another big struggle was we did the other time I did chicken catching with my friends. And the last time I did it, my friend Steve Shed, my high school buddy, he was a dear friend of mine. Just a a guy who got me. He was the only guy in science 10 who had bigger lung capacity than me, more lung strength, and not by much, but I got, I love going to swim underwater back and forth and seeing how long I can go, right? And doing a lot of breathing exercises like this one, actually. So breathing, hyperventilating in and out, getting our oxygen and get our blood oxygenated is very important. But doing some Wim Hof style breathing, but and the hot water, cold water is great too. I'm a wimp right now, but when I do it, I get tough and whatnot. So, but having the I call it spike breathing. So I go, I, and I learned this from Raul at the Red Deer Hospital at Unit 36, the most amazing nurse I've ever had. He's just awesome. But he taught me, and I do it now actively, and you can cause anxiety to go away. You can cause unrest to become rest. Getting our oxygen, getting our blood. So our lungs, if you open them up like a book, he taught me, they're about the size of a serving platter. Whether it's one lung or two, I don't know. Mine probably one, most people two. Kidding, I don't know. And but our lungs are full of saccules, and if you um, open them up, if you pop them, open them up, activate them, I guess, they actually become the size of about a tennis court. So you do it like this. So I'll do that 10, 20 times, and you just breathe in as deep as you can, and then let it out. But breathe in and let it out, and then also getting that, just sucking in air and in with the good, out with the bad, right? Just like when you go through life, take in the good, reflect on it, enjoy it. 99% of what I know through life for business and my faith and whatnot, mental health, things I know, the stories I can tell now, my music that's written, the music I write is all 99% is from my bad times, hard times in life. The 1%, when I had that peak, the barren peak of, which is, materialism, when life is good, you're on holidays and you're not, I mean, you can leave your phone in the hotel, you don't have to think about life. And then when you get back and you go, oh, I gotta answer all these, and then it starts again, right? Rats and cages chasing toxic cheese, and toxic cheese meaning money. So so Steve died, and that really, really hurt. Really, really hurt. It was so hard losing a friend. And then university came along, and actually Steve, they kept him on life support for a week for organ preservation. And I saw him in the hospital, and in, I believe, New Westminster, and it was hard, but he looked like him. And then at his funeral, the makeup scared me. I was tormented by that. Nothing scares me. I'd have the devil sit beside me, and he could say, shake his hand and say, "I know you lost. Jesus crushed you." Genesis says that when God was talking to Eve and the serpent, he said, talking about their seeds. He said her seed, basically. A lot of people tell the Bible word for word, whatnot. I do that too with some stuff, right? But basically said to Eve, he's like, your future seed is going to come along, offspring, right? One. And his seed is going to come along, and your seed is going to crush the seed, the crush the head of his seed. Basically, crush the head. I believe it says that he will bruise the heel. The devil will bruise the heel, but God will bruise the head. Anyway, so Jesus came along and did that. When he hung his head, he went. I think Second Peter says he went to Hades, hell, basically to preach to the dead, which I believe are the ones pre-flood. And I'm not here to preach. I mean, the Bible comes up when I talk, so when it does, I go with it, and just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and roll with the punches, and whatnot. So, and I live life with a plan and a strategy and a structure now as much as I can, with the acknowledgement that the best is never planned. So I essentially live life one atom at a time, and yeah. Matthew 6:34 says, "Do not worry about tomorrow." Basically, tomorrow's enough to worry about itself. focus on today, and live in the present kind of thing, right? I used to dream in the future. I've always dreamed in the future, but I used to try to live out there. And maybe I'd have more memories of the past if I focused on those moments and really relished them. Our blood cells don't forget anything. Our bodies remember our whole time, everything. I think my naturopath Floyd at Joy and Health and Nutrition in Red Deer, he told me that our blood cells, our red blood cells, have a lifespan of 3 months, give or take, and they have little baby. Well, and then the new ones are, I don't know, born. Kidding. Um, and they basically the new all the DNA, all the story of our body, or the what was that? The lamelin, you said, right? Is that what it's called? That's the shape of the cross in our DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I looked into that before, and that's reminded me of it. But our bodies don't forget. Our bodies know our story. They remember every sense, sight, hear, sound, smell, taste that we encounter. Our brains don't, because let's go. I just looked, and it's 55:55. I've been on here, and I got 51 minutes until my meeting. So I decided I'm not going to tell my whole story. I'm just doing in phases. I don't know if you heard that before, but I'm only in just after grade 12, and have a sip of my McDonald's tea, peppermint tea. Ah. And my mama gave me this hat today. And I ain't a cow. I'm not a. It's funny. My Patrick. Tried he tried turning me into a cowboy, partially. And I said, well, he's got pictures of me with cowboy hat, like George Strait, Garth Brooks cowboy hats. And I love those guys, by the way. But and I used to be more of a country singing than I am now. I actually do a lot of some rap now. I want to be diverse. I want to do everything with music, right? I don't want to be constricted to one thing, but definitely have a country rock soul, some folk, indie, gospel, and some hip hop now with a Regaverse. Where is he? Where's my brother? He'll come on here. And anyways, yeah. So that was hard. That was very hard, going through the loss, going through clinical depression, going through. This is all in a short period of time. And Steve died in a car accident. It was very tragic. The night of we went chicken catching, and just hurt. It destroyed me. And then there's other deaths along there that were so hard and whatnot. But yeah, so going through all those struggles at once, and some challenges at home, right? Um, uh, and me not really at that time talking about it. I was not raised. My generation. I don't know if it's generational for me. It's not as much as the boomers. Of lack of emotional awareness. There's definitely a lot less than now, and there's definitely not enough now. There's way too much stigma. People are afraid to talk about their things, and the reason I write about mental health, I wrote a book called Bye 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 Bipolar. I have a podcast called that too, and so I'm gonna do a theme song. I hope I don't get sued by NSYNC. Bye 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 bipolar. Let's see. Anyways, but I tell this when I tell my stories. I probably heard some of it. I'll tell it often. And I'll go bring back whatever. But so university was hard. 2 months of literally anxiety from hell, like social anxiety. And yeah, in school, I was afraid to talk in front of the class. I go sing in front of planet Earth now. I don't care. Hey, citizens of Earth, um, right? Well, let's love one another. Let's love God. Let's love thy neighbor. I wouldn't do that. I'd be cooler than that. Way cooler. Um, I had to learn to be me and find myself. I still take antidepressants. I still take the same one I took when I was diagnosed with it at 18. And it was when my mom took me to the late Dr. Jurgens. And was 3 pills. With the third one works. A lot of people have a much harder trial and error period than I did. I was on Paxil at first, and then Celexa for a month or so, and then escitalopram, Cipralex, 20 milligrams. I'm on that dose today, 22 years later. And yeah, my mom, she took me in, and it was so hard. I've been depressed so many times, and she's always been there for me. And my dad too. He's been there. He's really started to open up more about his own mental health over the last year or two, and it's hard when you don't not raised in that. Excuse me. Um, And so, yeah, university that I was 2 months, and then after that, I dropped out. I said I couldn't handle it. All these people around me are just like, and I'm just like, what's going on? I hate this. I hate my life right now. Anxiety sucks. You know about that, eh? Anxiety.
Oh yeah,
And it's fun, isn't it? Depression, you know about that one, don't you?
as well.
Yeah. We also know what joy and hope feels like, right? And that's what life's about. When we're, uh, yeah. So I like to say happiness is a choice, but it's really hard to be happy when you're depressed. So there's this. It's very hard, right? And you cannot buy happiness. You can go buy a burger; it'll make you happy for a few minutes, and then it's gone. You're like, oh, right? Buy a new vehicle, and you're happy for, I don't know, different for everybody. For the new vehicle feeling lasts, and it's gone. Um, New phone. Well, yeah, right. New this, new that. Uh, New salvation. That's joy. Being born again. A song called Baptism by, I think Randy Travis wrote it. Originally, Kenny Chesney sang it too. Down with the old man, up with the new. Raised to walk in the ways of light and truth. I didn't see no angels, just a few saints on the shore. But I felt like a newborn baby, cradled up in the arms of the Lord. Yeah, so down with the old man, up with the new. I got baptized when I was an infant by my grandpa. I've called that infant dedication, child dedication. And, to each their own on that, but I do value baptism biblically, which every single baptism in the Bible was by submersion. Submersion, immersion, submersion. Uh, and uh, and so I decided, well, I'll get it. That was 2020, I believe, or 2019. I forget. I mix them up. I could find out. But um, anyways, I decided to get rebaptized, but I'll get into that again. And then and when I'm actually considering doing it again for the third time because I don't think I was truly justified until 2023, February 1st, moment of surrender. But again, we'll get into that. So 2003, I graduated high school. So shortly after the next June or whatever, July, whatever school starts, is that when it ends? September, August, that's when it starts. I went to the university, and then after that, dropped out, and then I went to I'm mixing up the thing in my head. Did I go work for? Yeah, I did. I went to work for a boat, building a. They were building a yacht, like a couple few $1 million yacht, and I did this thing called fairing on the metal frame and the steel hull, and spreading the stuff. That was the only allergy I have in my life, by the way. It's two part resin. I went to my garage floor. I did polyaspartic 2-part, and I just flared up. It was horrible, but no allergies. Other than that, my physical health, I've been blessed. Injuries have hurt. It's just pain. Um, and so did that for, I don't know, 8, 9, probably 6 months, 8 months, 10. I don't know. I feel like blowing this harmonica. I love it. I love music sound. Just how it makes you feel. Can you grab my guitar? Joking. Where stuff is packed in here. And yeah, so did that. And then after that, I went to YWAM, Youth with a Mission. I was 19 and turned 20 there. So, and I went with my friend, my best friend from grade 3 to 12. And I had lots of best friends, but Fred and I, we go way back to grade 3. And we went to, from sports together and basketball team together all the whole time to partying together in school in his old Dodge Dakota. Yeah, what we got Dakotas burnout in Saddle Park. And I had to see that picture again. I need a copy of that. Just that smoke coming off there. To going to YWAM together. Fred went a year before that. He did this discipleship training school in right after high school. Right after school, he grew up right away. He grew up fast and learned from his mistakes at an early age. I didn't. Um, I lived in all those soils. There's the soil of Jesus talks about the parable of the sower, the seeds, and he went and scattered seeds, and some of them landed on rocky paths, and they went and got eaten up by the birds. Some landed on the wayward, the road, they got trampled on, and some landed in with the thorns, and they got eaten up, twisted with the vines, or with the weeds. And I can elaborate what they mean, but essentially, their faith came to Christ, and their faith, or they had an awakening in their faith, and they just had so hot, and then all of a sudden, well, let's go. The enemy gets a hold of us, and he can't make us do anything. He's just a very good fisherman, and he baits a really well baited hook. And so he took he baited a lot of hooks for me, and I bit a lot of hooks, a lot of holes in my lips, and yeah, so and a lot of temptation that just comes in the way. And like I said, with lust, I still struggle. That desire that I think it's man's biggest battle. I think it's also the thing they talk about, that we as men talk about. At least I can't speak for women, but some I have talked to, many, I agree with it for them too. And so it's time we open up and talk about our things. It's time we take that mask off and say, we all pee, we all poo, right? I'm just trying to say, like, I don't know why, you know what I mean, I think, but we don't need to talk about that all the time, but just, I'm trying to make things awkward right now to say that it's important to know that we are all human. We all bleed red. We all, when you go to the doctor for a heart attack or heart issue or a broken leg, there's no stigma attached to it. You're not afraid of going there because you're going to the doctor and they're going to make me better. But when you have a brain injury, an emotional emotional injury, which can or can't be clinical, right? It could be a situational thing that you can process largely with psychotherapy, psychologists, word talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is essentially replacing those bad thoughts with good ones, dialectical behavioral therapy. There's lots of things you can do, changing your styles, getting rid of old habits. Even some of the best Christians I know got bad habits. My mama, she got some bad habits, but I don't mean insult to that, in a relationship with me and the misunderstanding and whatnot. So, I've been misunderstood. She's been the one in my whole family over my last journey to be the most diligent to try to understand me. And she's always shown me love. And the four basic needs humans have are to be heard, to be understood, to be validated, and to be loved. Now, you don't become understood if you're not heard. You don't become validated if you're not understood. You don't become understood if you're not heard. You don't become validated if you're not understood. And you don't become love, right? Loved, I believe, is a buildup of all those. Is the last level of that. Then we got to stay there. That's so important. The love the Father has for us, and God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, the 3-in-1 Trinity. And I've heard it explained, it's the 3-in-1, 1-in-3, equal value, different role. There's somebody ways of saying it, but my friend Michael at the Dream Center in rehabilitation, he said a beautiful thing. He said, think about water. You got 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. If you take any of those elements away, you ain't got water. So they're all in there together. O2, the oxygen, maybe that's the spirit. Metaphorically, well, God is everything, right? Everywhere, everything good. God created all good, I should say. He is everywhere. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient. And he's omnipotent. He's always everywhere. He knows all things, and he has all power. And so that's the meaning of those words. And yeah, so kind of a little preachy there, but I always said I'm never going to be a preacher, but I don't know if I have a choice. I do tell people, though, if you feel like I'm preaching at you, please punch me in the face. And yeah, so I will not compromise myself. As I was saying, Patrick trying to turn me into a cowboy, and he's got some pictures of me. And I talked to him the other day. I said, I put the cowboy hat on and boots. I love my boots. I got cowboy boots, right? But I said, you can use those for my wedding, and I'm going to be getting married again in the future. I'll also be judged for that. I was through my adulterer, 4 years, 3.5, 4 years ago, nearly, and a terrible, terrible thing I did. I've spoken of it lots. And whatnot. I've turned over all the stones in my life, the main ones. If there's any other stones I haven't turned over, they're easy ones, little pebbles. Right, but the big ones have been rolled over. There's nothing in this world that I've done that anybody could say, well, you did this or you did that I haven't already said about myself. So I'm in a place of acceptance that, I will look back if I need to reflect more. But when Lot and his wife and I think their kids were escaping Sodom, Gomorrah, before they blew up with fire and brimstone. And on that note, actually, go to YouTube and look up Ron Wyatt, Wyatt. He is some discoveries of his, discoveries of Ron Wyatt. I'll leave it at that. And Sodom and Gomorrah was one of them. Noah's Ark, another one. Red Sea crossing, Mount Sinai, Ark of the Covenant, Jesus' crucifixion location. I think that's all of them. It's very captivating, and anybody who watches this, I don't know how you wouldn't believe the Bible. And I was saying earlier, so the Bible are the words of God. I do believe they are the canon, the document that we have left. There are some good ones and some heretical ones, but there's the word for word, thought for thought, and the ones that different kind of a spectrum, left to right of the Bible, and that are good. They're all, from I think it's the literacy one, and then what was the one? NASB is the one you read, which is more of a word for word. I like ESV on that note. New King James is a word for word. I did read New NLT, New Living Translation, which is on the right, thought for thought. And there's another category in the middle. I forget what it's called. It'll come to me maybe. And yeah. So then the message would be on the far right, which is more of a paraphrase version. I believe the man who wrote it for his kids so they'd understand it. So. And then there's some heretical ones, and there's a really, really apostolic one. Apostasy. What's apostolic? Apostic? I've never known that word. I've said that a few times. What is the tense of that? So, anyways, where they take I believe this Bible was written in a foreign country. I'm not going to say names of the country, and it got infiltrated into the U.S. and Canada, everywhere, I'm sure. But I've only heard from people. I haven't validated it myself, looking it up and researching it, but. Or they'd take, for example, one of the stories with the woman, the adulterous woman, where they go and Jesus says to the Pharisees brought an adulterer, and they said, Jesus, this woman did this, and the law of Moses says she should be stoned to death. And he says to them, he who is without sin may cast the first stone. And he basically put scripture back in their face, and he executed the word of God. I can't forget if that one is from the Old Testament, from maybe but he was putting their knowledge, yeah, their twisted knowledge of, he is the Messiah, he is the Savior, the Son of God. He knows that, and be given a lot of evidence up to this point, miracles and whatnot. Demonic rebuke, that was a third of his ministry. He who is without sin cast the first stone, and they dropped him. The oldest, youngest, or the youngest, oldest? One of the two. I'm going to say youngest, oldest. And they dropped him, and then Jesus said to the woman, he dropped it. Before that, he actually drew a line, drew something in the sand, and people wonder what it was. They said the 10 Commandments, this or that. I don't know. I think about it too. I think about a lot of things when I study the Bible. Like to go down to what does it mean? What was John trying to mean when he wrote John and his other accounts and Revelation? What was the author trying to write and whatnot? So that's the ultimate. I find in this world of theologians, there's man / woman interpreting man, right? And people, means this, right? When the church was founded. The devil's footprints were already in there, for Peter. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. He looked away from him and gave into the fear of the wind and the waves. He saw the wind and waves, scared, right? When he was going to see Jesus. If I saw Jesus on water, I don't care what's in front of me. I'm going to great white sharks. I'm going through them, right? And I hope I didn't prophesy. Speak that into my kidding. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. And yeah, so God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love and a sound mind. But Peter, already having that not unbelief, but unbelief to a point. Now he believed in Jesus, but unbelief of by letting fear in the way. The opposite of love is actually fear, not hate. Hate is stemmed out of fear. And got 32 minutes left before the meeting, so I'll probably get to just before. Yeah, do a little business stuff, talk. I might wrap it up before that actually, and at a point that, yeah, we'll see. I'll wrap it up at a relevant point, so I remember where to take off again and land this plane. Take her off again. So yeah, I guess I'm doing more Bible talk than I had planned, but that's just what happens when you're one of the best is never planned, right? I'm not saying this is the best. This is my story, so yeah. But that Bible that's come in took that story, that historical story, that the woman, the adulteress, and basically said the same thing. They dropped their stones. Youngest, oldest. It was youngest, oldest. I gotta look that up. Need to know. I'm a need to know guy.
What was that?
It wasn't. Not the woman of the well, because that was the Samaritan woman, and she was wondering. But the woman who the adulteress and the Pharisees and Jesus, go and sin no more. Just write that story. Vaping nicotine, as bad as the ingredients are in here for you. Nicotine itself, probably not the nicotine they use, is healthy for you. Believe it or not, don't matter to me if you do or don't. It's disputable. Paul says don't argue with them, but so let's not argue. Let's just talk about it. Not the tar, the formaldehyde, the stuff, and say I smoke cigarettes too once in a while. Got some in my suitcase, but it's buried. I'd gladly have one on camera. I don't care. I'm nothing to hide. I'm just a guy. And but the nicotine is in some potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, and it's not addictive as well. It's the other stuff that is addictive that they do to us that they put in there. So land up solutions.
Are you talking about when the woman was being accused and all the Pharisees were around?
Yeah.
What version? NIV.
Sure.
At this, those who heard began to go away, one at a time, the oldest
to youngest. Oh,
until only Jesus was
I
left,
was wrong.
with the woman still standing there.
What does that mean, oldest to youngest then?
The oldest probably understood.
Yeah, and then the others followed.
They're like, we all have sin.
That makes sense,
So,
yeah. And then the other one's like, well, I hated it. Right?
Yeah.
And then they were all pretty hierarchical. They were in respect of, we are to respect our elders, right? Honor our father and mother, right? and whatnot. So they took that verse, and the whole story is the same. That story, not the verse, the story. And but the end of it was that Jesus actually stoned her, is what they said, and trying to turn him into the villain and villainizing the Lord and Savior of humanity for those who choose to believe.
Jesus said, where are your condemners?
Yeah.
None of them were there. So
neither do I.
Neither do I condemn you.
Yeah. Where'd they go? Exactly. And if people actually truly understood who Jesus is, the words of read and the words the apostles talk of him and the prophecies leading up to, and there were there's over 2,000 prophecies in the Bible, and Jesus fulfilled over 300 of them. And I heard somebody say that that's equivalent to taking the probability of that is the equivalent to taking the land of Texas, covering it in 2 feet of quarters, and so give me one chance to find one quarter that they hide. Kind of unfathomable, right? And prophecies are still being fulfilled today. I love Bible prophecy. I love eschatology. That's the study of end times. And I used to dig deep into it to the point where I developed a spirit of fear. I wrote a song called I'll Keep You Safe. It was whatnot. So God didn't give us a spirit of fear. Remember when I told you that verse and it really spoke to you? For God did not give us, well, you know the verse, but when you heard it again, because if you've lived in a state of fear, your story is your story to tell. I'm not going to go into anything, but
fear and anxiety.
Yeah, fear, anxiety, and fear is a liar, as Zach Williams says, and it really is. spiritual and emotional mental health are so intertwined. There are elements of mental health that are separate from spiritual health, in my understanding. But if you neglect your spiritual health, in my opinion, in the wrong ways, even following spiritual health, there's other religions of the world that are beautiful. Sikhs, Hindus. It's not Sikh, by the way. It's Sikh, Hindus, Muslims. Some of the best religious conversations I've had were with Muslims. And I personally am not a religious person. I believe that religion is a set of rules. I like to say religion is the devil's version of faith. I'm a man of faith. I like to say I walk on water. We move mountains with the seed, little tiny mustard size faith. But that seed can grow into a tree, and it can grow roots, and that tree will bear fruit, mustard fruit. Ever had that? Me neither. um, and so, yeah, so there's a lot of false teachings, and that's kind of where this all stemmed off of, that are in the Bible. And a lot of people, a lot of the biggest churches in America are being led very poorly. The third last verse of the Bible, I believe, is Revelation 20:19, written by John. His revelation with Jesus taking out of the body. And I think it says whether in the body or out of the body. I don't know. Was that one? Or was that when he saw the? Yeah. And you've had out of body experiences. I've had crazy experiences. We'll get into many more stories another time, but there'll be stories for the rest of our life. Our team and people are gonna have crazy stories, and I actually want to encourage everybody else to tell their story. It's so important. I've only told tidbits from birth, and I could have filled in a lot more until about YWAM. Let me finish where I was. So, but I'll wrap up on that. Discernment is so important, and discernment is a lot of Christians in the Western world who don't live in the valley. They live kind of midway on the mountain or up the mountain. And when life is good, for me, when life is good, I'm not focusing on what I can change about myself. Why would I change anything if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? It's kind of the mentality of, I got the American dream. I got this big house. I got these cars. I got these animals. I got all this stuff, right? I got a couple $1,000,000 in the bank. I know I'm a very wealthy man, but my wallet's really thin, right? Mammon, you can serve God or mammon, right? Verses that turned my life around were that one. Jesus saying you cannot serve two masters. You can either choose to serve God or mammon, meaning wealth. Money is the ultimate test. I believe money was created to cause division, and God God allows things. He allowed things to come into existence. He allowed the judges to come in and say, okay, well, you need someone, well, we'll give you judges. That didn't work. Say, okay, you want somebody else, we'll give you kings, we'll give you prophets. Prophets were amazing, but the kings to rule the land, right? And the land of Israel was the north kingdom ran horribly. Judah, the southern kingdom, was run a lot better. There's some good kings in there. And I want to even refresh I want to do Bible study in the prophets and the kings. And we'll do lots of studies. We're doing group Bible studies, and we're gonna have open studies too on our channels where people can come and watch. We'll stream them, and we're not gonna do surface level stuff. What I found problem I have with the Reformed world, um, uh, I believe that the Protestant. There's over 40,000 denominations in the world. And when Peter, like I said, the devil got his footprints into the church early on. Now we did from 1 to 40,000, right? Many of them cults, right? The definition of a biblical cult, is any religious organization that uses the Bible as their religious doctrine and either adds or subtracts to it. So that verse in the Bible, Revelation, I think it's 2019, is John says, and I don't take this as he's talking about Revelation. I take this for literal for the whole thing. If anyone adds or subtracts to this prophecy, these words, then that punishment will be added to him or her, right? So we a reward taken away. We cannot change the word of God. But those words, the Bible, I've studied them my whole life. I haven't always acted upon them. There's been times when I was in that good, almost in the good soil, and I thought I was, and then boom, birds came and ate my seed up, and what the heck, or the weeds came and twisted up and distracted me with whatever else, or the I got crushed. Paul says we get persecuted but not pressed but not crushed, persecuted but not destroyed, and something but not abandoned. And man, that guy has a crazy story. What an amazing, amazing, amazing man of faith. More faith than Jonah, who said, "I'm not going to go there," and then I'm going to, I'll go to Nineveh. Why would we not go to Nineveh when love will drown out the darkness, and in the end, love wins? So, that's it. I'll tell a little bit about YWAM, and then I'll leave it at that, and I'll take over when I come back. When I was 20, 21, when my oil rig days started. But I'll do a couple poems first. Looks like Rex. What did he say? Is that him? I'm done, bro. Still alive? Let's bring Rex on for a little bit.
Right.
Come on, Rex. Rexy, buddy. It's Rex. It's the here for the poem part. I'll send see if Rex comes on. Come on, Rex. I got 1 thumbs up, by the way, and I had 1 person watching. And then it was also like 4 in the morning or whatever, 5.
Yeah.
I was awake in my world. I don't have many people on my YouTube channel. I haven't done any advertising. So, YWAM, I went there. I did my DTS, my discipleship training school in Orlando for 3 months or so. And then I went to Nanning, China. What an experience going to see a different culture, which really opened me up to seeing happiness amongst poverty. Going to the villages, right? I was in a small city with only 6 million people. Back then, right? And it was crazy busy. Going to the meat market and seeing dogs on hooks. They breed them to eat them. So people like, I don't care. It's their culture. It doesn't matter. It's they raise them to eat them. They're not chopping out their pets. That happens in this world, but yeah, I'm not gonna go where my mind is right now. And where are you, Rex? Come on, brother. I'll bring him up on Messenger. If you can't show up on here, you can show up on here. We'll turn this around and we'll say hi to Rex, my brother. My brother from more sweet teeny mother. Oh, there we go. He's here. My homeboy. Oh no. Oh, he was coming on tonight. Oh no. Oh, he was coming on and I called him at the same time. Oh man. We need Rex to come on and have some closing remarks here. Oh, what? What? I see somebody coming on. Who that? My brother.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Not much. How's my brother Rex? Ras Shishio Nagasi.
Yes. I'm all good, bro. I'm all good.
I got about 15 minutes left before I gotta go. I've told my story from the age of 0 to 20. The boring part.
You're still not done?
Hey, I haven't heard your story yet. Okay, you got 14 minutes to tell your whole story. Let's go.
Yeah.
I bet you can tell it with 1 song. Shine on me. No, I'm kidding. But man, it's yeah. So I told that I'm actually at the point now where I was just finishing up on my YWAM and then gonna take on part 2 of this when time allows. And that'll be for my oil rig years on, and then business years, and then marriage, adult infidelity, our children before that, and then the real battle. You know about that. Yeah, man. Rex, I didn't introduce him. I can't wait to hear your story, and it's gonna be when the God allows the time for it, and not. It's gonna be amazing, right? So,
yeah, I can probably tell part 1 too in the time that's left.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, for sure. I pretty much finished, but I'm gonna read a poem of mine before. I got 2 poems, and I'll do it quick. And actually, I'll do my rap. Is what I'm gonna do. I'll pull it up. I'll do my poem, and then I'll do that thing, and then Rex just take the floor and say whatever that spirit leads you to say, man. You've got a crazy Saul to Paul story, hey? I'll do the rap first.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
All right. You got it. Can you do a? I'm kidding. It's hard over the line. This is called. This is a poem I wrote. What is that?
I really was gonna do it this time. The beatbox.
I'll do it. Yeah, you do a beat. I'll follow along to it. For my,
Okay,
the same one. I leaned on you for sanity. The one I wrote because you promised peace of mind. That one. I'll do it a little.
Yeah.
I'll emphasize more. Rex is, by the way, my hip hop rap coach. We could play. Yeah, I've got 16 minutes on my meeting, but yeah, I could give her. Let's see if we can do this. I'll turn my volume, make sure my volume's up.
Let's see what I can come up with. Like,
you gotta do it loud so I can hear it.
Boom, boom, like boom, 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 boom.
I leaned on you for sanity because you promised peace of mind. A little faster.
Boom. Okay, a little faster.
Yeah, I've got to sing a country song. I leaned on you for sanity.
Okay, yeah. You try singing it. Yeah, it sounds.
No, that's what I've done for so long. I'll just turn around to here. Ready?
Okay.
But remember last time you encouraged me to do more rhythm, right? More flow. And I got the rhythm when I sing, but I've always spoke fast. I can talk really fast like this and that, right? So I'm gonna do more. We'll see what happens this time, right? It's hard to follow a beat because if I had it in my ears, it'd be better, right? But and if it was like faster than 40 beats a minute.
Yeah, if only my mind could like get that.
Man, before that, man, I gotta before anything, man, I'm gonna show them your a bit of your music here. Ready? This is called "Shine on Me" by Ras Jalil Nagasi on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. RASJAHLIL Nagasi, Negasi. This is called "Shine on Me." I'll put the details in the comments. Here we go. I just received a blessing. I'm in the light shine on it's it's light shine on entertainment for the beat. What else you like? Yo, you a blessing. Yeah. I've come from the depths of the glorious pains. I've seen hell in multiple faces. The devil's mirror your faces, smiling at me from corners. Trying to start conversations to block him out. So good, man. Combinations. None of it ever worked. I drowned in many depressions and mental disorders. In charge of my mental like inventions got me fired in addiction with and for some reason, for over a decade, I kept believing the Holy Spirit didn't rubbish my body for a week. Only thing I could do was lay on my back and breathe. It was the baptism of fire. I like my new hat. My mama gave it to me.
That is one of the coolest hats I've ever seen.
That's not how it goes.
When I was looking back at my life, let your light shine on me. Bright as the morning sun, the truth and the life. It's only found in your
makes me move, man.
Almost every hat looks good on you.
I need a guitar.
You can play an accompaniment to it.
Oh, my Lord and personal Savior.
I'd actually love to do like an acoustic version of this song, make it feel like a worship song sort of thing.
Yeah, I got one feedback on the song at the beginning of it. Right here, it comes in a little early. You need a little more taper. Everything's perfect otherwise. I'll show you. Right, it just jumps in. Could have used a couple beats and then I think, but you can. It's friggin' amazing though, especially that picture too. I was trying to show up, and it's so much clearer. Yeah, so now improvise the song. Go. You want to make one up on the fly, you and I?
Well, we can try. Yeah, definitely.
I do it. What are you gonna do about from darkness to light, from flames to freedom?
From flames to freedom, from darkness, flames to freedom. Flames to freedom
I like
resonates.
That, actually.
Yeah,
flames to freedom resonates. Like Michael's from faith from flames, right? Flames to freedom.
Yeah.
I just thought of it now.
That's probably why now flames to freedom resonates, because somewhere in my subconscious there's that faith from flames.
Yeah, flames to freedom, man. I just showed up in my mind somewhere. All right, I lived a life of insecurity. Man, I was so blind. What the hell was I thinking? Now that I look behind, all that hindsight behind me is so dang clear. But
Give
so
me a
was
second.
that
Let me
whiskey.
get a notebook too. Give me a second. Let me get a notebook too.
Yeah. So was that whiskey whispering into my ear, saying, "You'll be better if you put me in you." And I believed that Jezebel. I don't know. I'm trying too hard. When I try too hard, it don't work. So I'll actually do my. It wasn't that bad, but it was kind of whatever. When I let go and let God take over and let my brain be relaxed, it's better. So I'm gonna do the one I got here. It's we got 12 minutes, and then I got Cassidy, my counselor. I got to do appointments, 8 of them, 4 more, 3 more, 3 or 4 more. That's right here.
Oh,
Before,
I saw a Google Calendar notification from your email about that.
yeah, there's some bunch of configuration I did. So, about you got this all read. You're part of yesterday's Rebels calendar, my brother. I think you get that
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
I
yesterday's
do.
Rebels. We all were looking back in the mirror. We were pretty. We're looking back is clear, but looking forward through it was the mud, right? We had to go through that battle. We had to go through
Uh-huh.
heaven to find hell. No, other way around. We had to go through hell to find heaven. I found heaven by
Yeah,
going through hell. I wrote a poem. I pleaded out to God. I was like, for a while, I was like, who am I? For like a year and a half, 2 years. God, who am I? I felt like in my life in the past, just a different Bible character at different times. So much
yeah,
faith,
yeah,
but so much, Solomon and David. So I wrote, but that was who am I? I know who I am now. I'm Stefan Daniel Dolan. I'm a child of God, disciple of Christ, right?
yeah.
And that heart that he put in me, like the Grinch, it grew 3 sizes, right? And it keeps growing every day, especially having people like you in my life. And you want to see camera or no?
Oh no.
He's shy, just yeah.
Steven's with
Um,
you right
yeah,
there.
man, my brother. I like, yeah, he's got his story to tell, and when he's ready, he's gonna do it too. So,
Amen.
this one,
Amen.
why me though? I said, God, why me? You too, right? Your Saul to Paul.
Yeah,
I'll read this,
yeah.
and I'll do my rap. Take me like 2 minutes to both, and then take the floor on your Saul to Paul. Your rip of the church and all that. So, why me, God? I pleaded with him. Why me? Why did you take this guy who adulterer and turn me into a music guy who can go and write songs and sing, and want to bring people to you? Of course I do, but why did you choose? Why me? I was a prodigal. I was a thief. I was an addict, and it was all about me. Looking back, it was all vanity. Since I've surrendered, I can finally see the love is everything that I need, even though I don't deserve it. I'd say one thing and do another. I was such a hypocrite. And somehow I was led to the light. I guess the Lord had other plans. Now he is my foundation, and I'm no longer in sinking sand, but I simply cannot understand. Why me? Why me? I was the worst of sinners and deserved to eternally die. You pulled me out of the darkness and into your light. You softened my heart and you gave me new life. Why me? Why me? I was a prodigal, eating with the swine, getting drunk on whiskey, women, and wine. Somehow you gave me mercy and opened my eyes. When you softened my heart, I took off my disguise. Now for all of my days, I'll be alive. Why did you choose me when I deserve to die? And that's just, I got to do verse 2 still, but I'll do that one quick for time's sake. All right, this one, all right, give me as much constructive or deconstructive, kidding, you don't know how to, constructive criticism compared to the first one you heard on this. I got this. See, I'll try to.
Uh-huh.
I leaned on you for sanity because you promised peace of mind, but you only brought depravity and made my heart go blind. You scorned my reputation with your toxic medication. You filled me with doubt when I wanted validation. You picked me up, then knocked me down. You called me friend, but you let me drown. Since I walked away from you, addiction, I'm so much better now. But not a day goes by that I don't remember you. Sometimes I want you in my blood when I'm feeling black and blue. But you cried wolf too many times and really showed me who you are. You never wanted the best for me because you don't have a heart. You do. So all this reminiscing of my painful memories helps me stay the hell away from you, addiction. So stay the hell away from me. This is my resignation. I am no longer your slave. So grab a shovel. Let's dig a hole. I'll help you dig your grave. And if you come around and I see your ugly face, I'll remind you who really loves me. You know, the one who gives me grace. So take your needles and your smoke. I never had a needle problem, but take your needles and your smoke. Take them far, far away. You're never welcome back, addiction. You are a disgrace. Verse 2. Now I get high on music. She lets me feel like myself. She's broken my chains and now I'm out of my cell. You only offer dopamine and your happiness leads to hell. Not one single part of me wants to even wish you well. But I'll still talk about you and let them know who you really are. My wounds from you are healed, but I'll show them all my scars. It's time to start a movement. Let's roll the stones away. Let's lean on love for all our strength and walk out of our grave. Now, so chorus again. I better do that one. Not a day goes by that I don't remember you. Sometimes I'm wanting to do it faster now. Speed rap. Not a day goes by that I don't remember you. Sometimes I want you in my blood when I'm feeling black and blue. But you got wolf too many times to really show me who you are. Never wanted the best for me because you don't have a heart. That floor's better. So all this reminiscing
Yeah,
of my
close.
painful memories helps me stay the hell away from you. So stay the hell away from me. This is my resignation. I am no longer your slave. So grab a shovel, let's dig a hole. I'll help you dig your grave. And if you come around and I see your ugly face, I'll remind you who really loves me. You know, the one who gives me grace. So take your needles and your smoke, take them far, far away, and never ever welcome back. Addiction, you are a disgrace. Now I get high on music. She lets me feel like myself. She's broken all my chains and now I'm out of my cell. You only offer dopamine and your happiness leads to hell. Not one single part of me wants to wish you well. But I'll still talk about you. Let them know who you really are. My wounds from you are healed. I already read that part. Sorry. Now outro. I already read that. Now serenity fills my veins. Mercy took away my pain. The sun, S-O-N. The sun evaporated my rain. I'm finally proud of me again. Life's a journey, not a race. It's full of lessons, full of grace. And I still smoke cigarettes, but addiction, you are a disgrace. Yeah, I wrote that in the bath. All right, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, go. There's Saul DePaul. From Rex to Ras.
I got mine was like I got saved like Paul on the road to Damascus. I fell on my face at the feet of the master. From persecuting the saints, I made a holy disaster. Eyes blinded, ears deafened at the glory of Abba. I went from a skeptic, like I'm Clarence, now I'm walking on water. Consume the word with the veracity that villages hunger for truth. Get in the booth, then I'm spewing these chapters at you. I am a youth, and the life that I live is infused with the Holy Spirit when I walk by a flower it blooms. Salt of the earth, I see the Spirit is bearing some fruit. I'm the Elijah of this age, see the fire consumed. Every step I take is anointed, see the devil abused. See, I done walked through the crucible and came out shining. I seen multiple hells and I came out smiling. Through unimaginable pressures, I came out vibing. The Lord cut me himself. I am God's own diamond. Yo.
Brother, that was good. When did you write that one? Or just now?
That's the verse on Mike's song.
The one on
The
the one that you did with him?
yeah,
Man, I'm
yeah,
gonna play
yeah,
some of
yeah.
Mike's stuff. I'm gonna play that right now. I'm gonna talk about Mike here. Michael quickly too. He's one of the amigos like us. There's only
Uh-huh.
3 here out. There's many amigos want to come in here, but we are, Batman and Robin Hood, right?
Yep, yep,
We
yep.
batmanandrobinhood.com. Check it out when it's open. We're gonna help.
Yep.
We want to help with criminal justice and with social justice. And yeah, so let's pull up
By the way,
Smudge D. It's in my
man.
live. I listened to a bunch of his songs the other day. Smudge D, the album he released it. My buddy Michael Smelka, no,
Yeah,
Smeagol.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's the
Yeah,
one.
so yeah,
Oh, that's a
the
powerful
one here. We're gonna do
album.
the song with oh man, where'd you go? Home search.
It's
There we go.
titled Old Day Jehovah. Is the title
Yeah,
of
I
the
got it.
song.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Michael. Lay down at the cross and wave. In his love you'll find me all of his grace. For in Christ you gonna find your strength.
Hey, hey,
Country
don't
boy, I'm a country boy, I'm a country. Think the background.
you hey, come on. You'll see and play. All day, Jehovah, yeah. All day, all day, Jehovah.
Oh, who's that guy?
At the feet of the master, from persecuting the saints, made a holy disaster. Eyes blinded, ears deafened at the glory of heaven.
Who that?
Walking in water. Oh yeah. Youth and the life that I live is infused with the Holy Spirit and the house of flower it blooms.
Love that line. Walked through the crucible and came out shining. I am God's own diamond.
Yep, yep, yep. Man, I love this song
There
so
you go. It's
much.
you and I. Yeah. It's a screenshot,
Oh
brother. Smile.
yeah.
Smile. Oh, that didn't work. You see, so.
Let me try taking it from here.
There we go. Today we gonna do.
Yeah, come always, all day, Jehovah.
From the enemy control. Surrender to me, give me all your fears. In the silence of the night.
Yeah, check me out. You're such a good due diligence. That's amazing. I have an invitation for over here. Yeah, 2 minute, minute and a half. I gotta go to a meeting here. I know. Oh, we're maybe just doing a phone call actually. Yeah.
Yo, could I do this one? Could I do this one reggae first that
All right.
I'm working on?
I gotta run, brother. You want to quickly pray? 30 seconds.
Okay, let's pray. Dear God, we want to thank you for this opportunity for fellowship right now. We want to ask you to bless us as we continue on with our days. Bless Stefan as he goes to his meeting in Jesus' name. Bless Stephen as he goes through this day as well. Thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy over our lives, and may you continue to bless us in everything that we do. Father, most importantly, send us to your word to be fishers of men. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, we pray. Amen.
And be with my brother Rex, Clive, my homie, my brother. So it's a blessing to be party life, man. I'll be. You can come on for part 2, man, to get to hear the fun stuff. You missed all the boring stuff. No, I talked a little about
Bro.
my siblings, my upbringing. It was pretty good, and it'll be on my channel. I'll leave it live on there now, so go and check it out.
Okay,
Dog
yeah,
is
I'll
good
definitely
too.
take it out to catch up on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock. All right, love you,
All
brother.
right, peace.
Yeah,
Bro. Peace. Love you too, man.
love you, everybody. Bye.